Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. I'm not going to take long, but I just had to come in and tell you about a really interesting article I just read in the Wall Street Journal. According to the Wall Street Journal, the attendance of men in college has been far outpaced by women in recent years. There was always a gap. The gap keeps growing, and basically, they're finding that men are an endangered species on a lot of college campuses. That women are starting to significantly outnumber men. And this is true for all men across the board, not just Black men. Now, you know how things typically work. When white people catch a cold, Black people get pneumonia. So whatever the numbers are for white people, the numbers are always going to be much heavier for us. And as a person who has taught on college campuses for many years, um, thoughts about this. I've always been a Black man, but also I've been a college professor for about 27 years, and I've seen the dynamic. I remember even being an undergrad, and even back then, I remember being outnumbered by the women. Every time I went to a conference, I was outnumbered by the women. And then when I got to graduate school and the PhD level, there was almost no other Black men anywhere, particularly African American men. And so, anyway, I want to address this a little bit and kind of break some of this down because a lot of you have yes in the chat if you have a Black son or if you are young enough where maybe you're trying to figure out your future. If you have a Black male that you care about, say something in the chat. Because I think we need to really think about the future of our men. Now, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. I'm not going to talk long, but I wanted to break this down. And by the way, my Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. So follow me on Instagram if you want to remain connected. So here in the Wall Street Journal, I'm not going to read the whole article to you because it's very long. But basically, the title. Give me a guess in the chat. Also, if you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, because I'm switching screens here. So the article's title: "A Generation of Men Give Up on College," and they put a quote that I just feel lost. And according to the Wall Street Journal, they said the number of men enrolled at 2 and 4 year colleges has fallen behind women by record levels in a widening education gap across the U.S. Men are abandoning higher education in such numbers that they now trail female college students by record levels. At the close of the 2021 academic year, women made up 59% of college students, 59.5% to be exact, an all-time high, and men 40.5%, according to enrollment data from the National Student Clearinghouse, a nonprofit research group. U.S. college students and universities had 1.5 million fewer students compared with 5 years ago, and men accounted for 71% of the decline. This education gap, which holds at both 2 and 4 year colleges, has been slowly widening for 40 years. The divergence increases at graduation. After 6 years of college, 65% of women in the U.S. who started a 4 year university in 2012 received diplomas by 2018, compared to 59% of men during the same time period. Okay, so they said in a few years there will be two female college graduates for every male. And this is something, again, this is happening with everybody, and it's happening with white people. So if it's happening with white people, you know what it is for Black people. You know that the numbers are already overwhelming for Black people. And I want to kind of share this because Alicia and I, my wife is a college professor like me, and she's a full professor of social work, right? Full is very probably only 1% of all PhDs, I think, become full professors. So she's not just a professor; she's one of the elite professors, and has a lot of experience at the one of the things that led us to kind of think about this is we just dropped our son off for college. He's a freshman in college, and he got there, and he's tall, he's handsome, he's smart, and all these other things, and and he's instantly surrounded by girls, right? So we're kind of laughing it out, like, oh man, well these girls are already checking you out, like they're already competing to get his attention. We could see that very quickly, and on one hand that's a good thing, but on the other hand, it kind of leaves me because one day, he's going to get married. He's going to choose a woman to have kids with. And so if there are 10 women that want him, 9 of those women are going to be disappointed, right? 9 of those women aren't going to get what they wanted. And this creates an imbalance in the ecosystem. The Economist actually wrote a full extensive article about the imbalance between Black men and Black women in America. They said in the United States, particularly because of high incarceration rates, the percentage of educated slash marriage eligible slash income earning Black than much lower than the percentage of educated slash income earning Black women. And they said this can cause tremendous problems in terms of how women end up feeling about their lives. You see some people out here, on social media that are bashing black women and saying it's your fault because y'all do this wrong or y'all do that wrong. Well, I can just tell you, as a statistician who knows the data, you could do everything right and things could still be kind of off balance. And so, a few things about college that's really interesting. People ask me, am I pro college or am I anti college? Well, I give a really confusing answer. Dumb people are going to be confused by my answer. My answer is it depends. I'm pro college if college is used in a way that accelerates your long term potential, gives you what you want, doesn't leave you dying in debt, and puts you in a better position. I'm anti college if you're going to be like millions of our young people that go to college and can't pay the student loans, aren't making that much money, and aren't happy with their careers, right? So college, depending on what you use college for. Well, so when you're talking about our boys, what you're really seeing is you're seeing a situation where a lot of boys are are not positioned for college for a few reasons. One, when you see these declining numbers and you see a lot of young men who get to be 18, 19, 20 years old and just have no focus, no vision, don't know what they want to do next. Well, what they're really talking about is the missing father. What they're really talking about is the breakdown of the family. I hope you guys give me a guess if you understand what I'm saying here. I know everybody wants you to think that a mama by herself is the same as a mama and a daddy, and I can just tell you that it's not. Maybe if you never had a daddy, then you think that it's the same. But I had a daddy, and I can't imagine my mother raising me by herself because your parent that is the same gender as you, that is your role model. That's the person you're emulating. When I had a conversation with David Banner once, I remember Banner is a good guy, and one thing we joked about was, when you become a man and you're not sure what to do next, done right. So you use that person you saw every day. I got to watch how my father did everything, how he ate his food, how he had conversations with the neighbors, how he did work in the backyard, how he got put his pants on in the morning, like literally every little detail, right? And people think, oh well, you just get them a role model and it's fine, they'll be fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I live in a household where I watch how my girls follow their mother around. I watch how they copy her in everything. I watch how how their mother is constantly giving them critiques every single day, 1,000 times a day, on every little thing, from how you're wearing that outfit to what you just did with your hair to how you wash the dishes to everything. You can't replace that with a parent that you see once every 3 weeks. And I'm gonna just tell you the honest to God truth. As a stepfather in the house, which I love being, I love children. I love the opportunity to be a parent. It is a great thrill for me. I love to teach. But I can tell you, that stepdaddy or your mama's boyfriend is not the replacement for the biological dad. It's just not. So that's why I coordinate with the children's father. When situations get a little bit weird, I'll call him and I'll say, okay, how are we going to handle this? Because they need to hear this from you. There are things that you can do with them that I can't do. Right. I see them every day. I can give you information on what they do every day. You need to step in because you are their father. And he gets right. We work together. We partner on that. And people that don't understand this kind of thing, I really think that maybe they just haven't thought about it enough, or they haven't seen enough, or they haven't done enough. They just don't get it. But I'm telling you, the breakdown of the family is probably the number one reason that Black people struggle so much. A man who does not have a consistent, adequate role model guiding him on every little tiny decision is gonna be lost. He's not gonna know what to do next. And also, mothers just don't push boys the way fathers do. So backing this up to the whole lack of college enrollment by young men, a lot of that comes from the fact that if you're a young guy and your mama been spoiling you every day and letting you sit in your drawers and smoke weed and play Xbox, and every time she tries to give you guidance, you get annoyed and act like she's nagging. Chances are that guy isn't gonna be as disciplined as the guy who had a father who was ready to put his foot up his ass if he didn't get in line. It doesn't mean mothers aren't doing their job. This is not blaming single mothers. This is not a blame game about the breakdown of the family, but this is the consequence of the breakdown of the family. And what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is that, is that this trendy idea that breaking down families and dumping people out of your life and all this other stuff, that's liberation, that's good for you, that's a wonderful thing. I'm saying don't go along with those stupid trends. Those are bullshit trends. Those are trends that leave people out here by themselves struggling. You know, me and my wife are a team. We work together. She ain't got to worry about bills because I'm gonna pay them. You know, she doesn't have to worry about because I'm here. I don't have to worry about eating a healthy meal because my wife is right there. I don't have to worry about the things that I would be dealing with as a single man. Like that teamwork aspect of family, people just forget how important that is, particularly when you talk about raising kids. Anybody, how many of you in here, hit the thumbs up button? Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. How many of y'all in here got kids? Yeah, everybody, every parent in here, every full-time present parent, say something in the chat. Let's shout out the parents in the room. How many of y'all got kids? Give me a yes or no if you got kids in the house. Yes or no? Okay, I see Deja has kids. Okay, Toonie, all right. Okay, and I see some more. You have okay, Takira and Yvette. Yeah, okay. So one thing about kids is I don't know about y'all, but my wife and I have to tag team those little sons of bitches. Like we can't, one of us trying to do everything by ourselves is really, really hard. We tag team. Like there's times where, one of us will set the trap and the other one will pull the kid into it. Like or we have to maintain. Takes a village, and it's not just me and my wife. It'll be me, my wife, their dad, and the grandmother, all working together, unified, to set that little son of a bitch straight. Like I don't want to say it like that, but it's funny. Like people, my friend uses that term, "fuck them kids," right? And she says the only people that get offended when I say that are people who are not actually parents, right? Because it's stressful, it's tough, it's hard work. You have to work together to raise kids, right? So when somebody acts like they can just do it all by themselves, it's kind of like I don't know if that's always true. Think that's kind of like playing the piano with one finger. Like maybe you can do it, but it's real hard, right? You need maybe both hands and all 10 fingers to really do it right. So I'm gonna say that when I hear about the drop in enrollment of black boys in college or boys in college, period, particularly black boys, I link that to the missing father. I think that's a huge factor in all of this because the father's the one who forces that boy to straighten up, do right, and I can tell you with our son, I had to have hard conversations with him like that. His dad had to have hard conversations with that. We got him together. We literally got him together. Like it was like a scene from Goodfellas. Like I was Joe Pesci in the back seat who was ready to wring his neck, and his father was in the front seat, and we cornered him, and we had a man to man to man talk with him about what men are supposed to do because that's a conversation his mama cannot have. I know we tell women that they can be men. No, you can't. You're not a man. Just like I'm not a woman. I can't, even if I dress like Lil Nas X and twerking in prison and doing all this stuff, the Billy Porter putting on dresses on, that they still ain't women. You can't emulate what a woman is and what a woman does, just like women cannot emulate men, period. So let me keep reading. Let me tell you more about this article in the Wall Street Journal where they were talking about the decline in enrollment of black boys or boys in general. I talk about black boys because I talk about black people, but this actually was about men in general. Some other things that were mentioned and I agree with, or I thought about, is I thought black boys get misdiagnosed with ADHD at an early age, just because they are, restless. Like I was really restless. I would jump up, sit down, run around, make noise and all that. Want to control you and subdue you, they will diagnose you. And when they diagnose you and use that white supremacist authoritarian language to convince you that somehow something is wrong with your child, next thing you know, they got your child on medication. The medication is not designed to make your child more effective and more successful in life. In my view, this is my opinion. It's designed to make sure he sits down and shuts up and doesn't cause any trouble. Right? Like school systems, people don't understand this. And I'm speaking as an educator now. People don't understand school ain't about intelligence. Like the studies show that valedictorians, did y'all know that valedictorians are are among the least likely to ever really become millionaires. Did y'all know that the valedictorians have a very low probability of huge amounts of economic success? Well, why is that? I mean, valedictorians are the smart ones. They make good grades. They got, they got the award for being the smartest in school. But the truth is that they didn't get a reward for being the smartest. They got a reward for being uh, for fitting into the system the best. They got a reward for being the kid who knew how to sit down and shut up and do what they were told. They got a reward for following orders. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's always a bad thing. That's good. You got to learn how to work within systems. But typically, millionaires are people that know how to think above and beyond the system. Millionaires are the people that say, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing, because if I do what everybody else is doing, I'm going to get what everybody else is getting. If I want to get something different, I got to do different. So millionaires go left when everybody else goes right, right? That takes an intelligent kid to be able to identify that. And typically the kid who does that, the kid who goes left when everybody else goes right, is not the kid who's going to be rewarded. Think about this. Do you get rewarded or punished when you make a decision that differs from the norm? If everybody else is saying, here, take the shot, and you're like, I don't want to take the shot, are you going to get rewarded for that? Or are you going to have a bunch of people punish you for that? Right? You're going to be socially punished for not doing what you're told, right? So typically valedictorians are great test takers. They fit well within the system. They know how to follow rules, and there's nothing wrong with that. They tend to get great positions within corporations because the school is designed to replicate systems they will encounter in adult life. The school system is designed to replicate the corporation, and it's also designed to replicate incarceration. They run schools. They run white schools like corporations. They run black schools like prisons. And they're preparing your children to behave well when they get into those systems. So the systematic Negro, or the programmed child, is going to do really well within those systems. So a lot of the kids that had a lot of energy and whatever, jumping around like I did, speaking out of turn, not without raising your hand and all that, like I did, we were the kids who maybe had a little bit of an extra passion. Many of us had a little bit of extra intelligence. Many of us saw things other people didn't see, and we acted on that. So I'm not easily programmed. I don't fit into a system. So as a result, they told my mother, something's wrong with your child. He should take medication. He should be in special. Fortunately, I had a mother who had no problem cussing the teacher out if you tried to derail her child. I had a mother who understood me, who had faith in her understanding of me. You couldn't just talk her out of what she believed just because you're white and you went to Stanford. I had a mother and a father who stood up for me, who advocated for me and protected me from that. If I had not had that, pay attention now. I'm sitting there talking to you as Dr. Boyce Watkins, and my PhD is real, very real. I was the only African American on earth to get a PhD in finance during the year 2002. No other Black person on the planet that I know of anywhere got that same degree that year, right? But think about this. If they had put me on that medication at an early age, if they had put me in them special classes at an early age, and if I had no father to guide me the way my father guided me, and if I had a mother who was intimidated by white people's credentials, I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. You know what I would be? I'd probably be like the smartest guy at the Ford plant, right? I'd be able to fix the machines that, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with working at Ford. I'm not dissing that. I'm not dissing that at all. But or maybe I'd be like the guy in prison who's always in the library reading all the books in prison, right? Like that's what happens. A lot of your geniuses and a lot of your great men end up in places where they don't belong, right? That's why, for example, a lot of the men who follow me are maybe guys who do regular jobs or whatever, but they're vibing, they're getting it because they're like, man, I want to be intelligent, I want to be smart, but nobody encouraged that in them. Nobody gave them an opportunity to be smart, so they chose a different path. So now they're starting to realize all these things as they get older, and it makes them feel a little bit out of place. So what I'm saying to you is that if you look at the system and you look at the way America operates, if you look at the fact that we don't value fathers anymore, if you look at the fact that we have a country that pretty much kind of hates men, right? White women hate men, not all of them, but many of them do. The feminists, the extreme feminists, it's a gender war. That's all it is. It's like we want to take power from men because men have had power for so long, and so as a result, we're going to undermine everything that men are trying to do, and we're going to elevate women at all costs, even when they're lying, even when they're not good people. Right. So effectively on these college campuses, they have a ton of programs to support women, Title IX, all kinds of stuff, women's centers, everything else. And they have nothing there to support the men. So you got these young men, pay attention now. Young men ain't got no daddy to guide you. Your mama has done her best, but she can only do so much. Um, you have a lot of distractions in the world, like rappers telling you, that you should stay high and drunk every day. Things like video games, porn, all kinds of stuff out there that are distractions for young men. So you arrive on a college campus and you have no guidance. You don't know where to go or what to do, right? And you get there and everything is designed around the woman. Everything's designed and centered around helping women succeed, helping women overcome, helping women come together, protecting women from male predators. And as a man, you got nothing. So you get to campus and you're going to flunk out because you got no goddamn support. If you make it that far, if you make it that far. And I'm not saying this is that every man's going to fail out of college. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying this is true in every case. But I am telling you, as a college professor myself, that is what I saw. That is what I saw. I really think that this sort of anti-male environment is not healthy. It's politically incorrect to address that because if you create something that supports men, people think that's sexist because women feel like they have the right to conquer and control everything. Some women do, not all women. It's kind of ridiculous. A guy named Ed Grokowski from Junior Achievement was quoted in that Wall Street Journal article, and he made the best quote, which I really love. And he mentioned three things that are causing men to kind of fall off. He wasn't talking about black men; he was talking about men in general. But I like what he said. He said three things: a lack of guidance, meaning no father there to tell you what to do. Get your ass up, and here's what you're supposed to do next. A strain of anti-intellectualism, aka rappers who make you think that the more ignorant you are, the more you're going to fit in, and also a belief that college doesn't pay off, which unfortunately sometimes that's not true. College is not paying off for millions of black people. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go to college. It just means if you're doing it wrong. When I sent my son to college, I said, we're not going to take on too much debt. We're going to major in something that's going to give you a good income. And most importantly, write this down now. As a black man, you must make investments and learn how to start your own business. As a black man, we do not measure you based on the number of degrees you have. We do not measure your success based on the income you have. We do not measure your success based on your fancy job title. We measure your success by what are your assets at? Because your assets will cover your ass. A man with no assets is a man who who's going who's going to get knocked on his ass. So you give them assets to cover their ass. Period. So that means ownership of stock is important. That means ownership of real estate is important. Absolutely essential for any black man that wants to succeed and protect himself in America, whether you went to college or not. So this is not an anti-college platform. College can certainly work for you, but the reason it doesn't work for millions of black people is because you're doing it wrong. You're going $10 trillion in debt, getting a degree that isn't going to make you any money. You have no skills outside of whatever that school trained you to do on a job. And then when you get that job, you ain't making no money. And then you spending your money imitating these stupid celebrities who tell you that your number one obsession in life should be to get a brand new iPhone in a Gucci bag. And then you wonder why you're falling behind financially. Well, it's because everything you've done to that point makes absolutely no sense to anybody that has common sense. The only reason you think it makes sense is not because you concluded on it through an independent evaluation that it makes sense for you. You're doing it because everybody else is doing it. You're just copying. You're following all the other sheep to slaughter. And you think that because all the other sheep are going to the same place that you're going to be safe. No, y'all all going to get slaughtered. Millions of y'all are getting slaughtered because that's how they keep the factory going. That's how everybody eats. You can't have, you people can't have their lamb chops if you don't have millions of sheep lining up going to slaughter. So you can keep doing what you want to if you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to tell you what it is. What you not about 80% of what you're trying to do as a black person in America is going to lead to your economic demise. So you better get some better training. That's the only choice you have. So anyway, I gotta go, guys. The article's in the Wall Street Journal. You can look it up. I think it says something like millions of men have given up on college. And you know me, I blackify everything. I like to think about how does this relate to black people? And there's a lot to say, and I just had to talk about it. And I'm about to go down and take a nap. So hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. And also just a reminder, I'll be in Baltimore. I'm joining Reality Speaks. to do a special presentation in Baltimore at the end of this month. So if you live in the area or you want to fly down, feel free to go to drboycebaltimore.com and you can actually get your tickets right there. I want to shout out to my boy Jabari, who actually runs Conscious Heads Barbershop in Baltimore. He's doing amazing work. They have a whole Black Wall Street in Baltimore. The politicians in Baltimore, I don't kid. I don't think much of them. The school system in Baltimore, half of it is absolutely terrible. But I'm gonna tell you, the city of Baltimore has some Black people on the other extreme who are off the grid, who are absolutely killing the game. I'm talking about Black Wall Street, Black businesses, teaching knowledge at the highest level. And Jabari Natur and Watoto from the Nile, that's his daughter's group, just all of them, they're doing amazing stuff. So I'm actually going to join them in Baltimore at the end of the month. So if you want to go, you can go to drboycebaltimore.com and make sure we stay connected, because since I'm talking more about things like, those government shots and all that, I'm noticing that some of my platforms are getting suspended and I'm kind of getting shadow banned in different places. So just in case they ever take me off the air, connect in some other way so we can stay connected. So one great way to stay connected and get something free is every Wednesday we're reading Dr. Claude Anderson's books. We're reading Black Labor, White Wealth, and I'm analyzing that and breaking it down for you. So if you want to join the book club, it's totally free. You can go to blackkeystogreatness.com. Also in Black Keys to Greatness, you get free access to my life class. The life class is $1,000 value. You can have it for free. It used to cost $1,000 because there's a lot of material in there and it took a long time to create it. But actually, I took that away and it's totally free to the community. So join with your whole family. Go through the life class material. Those are your secrets to success. But then also on Wednesday nights at 8:30, we're reading Black Labor, White Wealth, so you can understand the history of this country, the real history of this country, and also understand where you come from so that you know where you're going. You cannot know where you're going if you do not know where you come from, and you cannot figure out a way to get to a better place until you figure out why you're in the place that you're in. So that's what we're doing every Wednesday night. So join us for Economic Church. We're about to get it in. Love you guys. Have a good day. Please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Peace.